Well, Jim Roger joins us now. Let's connect with him to understand what he make of the new tariff regime, how the world will change, what will change for emerging like markets like India, and what will change for US. Jim, what is your understanding of the new reboot in the world? How will tariff change the global economic landscape?
Well, I have read enough history to know that trade wars and tariff wars have never been good for anybody. Maybe a few people for a few days or a few weeks, but it's never worked, never anywhere. And Mr. Trump is making a serious mistake. Mr. Trump either doesn't know history or thinks he's smarter than history. I know he thinks he's smarter than history, and I'm afraid Mr. Trump is going to make things bad for all of us. Yeah.
Right. Do you want to grab a glass of water? I can come back to you for a question.
I don't want to interrupt. Let's try it.
So, yes, nobody has benefited from trade wars. So, if
nobody has benefited from trade wars, and Mr. Trump will not benefit from this either.
Jim, I mean, we all know, and there are concerns already which were under works as to what's going to happen to the overheated U.S. equity markets, given the kind of valuations that they've already been quoting at. Some of their most fancied tech names have already seen quite a bit of fall. But other than that, I mean, what does it mean for the world per se? I mean, what would it mean for markets like China after 3 years of consistent, stagnation in the equity markets? Finally, they were a bottom-up story. You had everything going for them, and now you have the maximum tariffs being slapped on them to the tune of about over 50%.
Well, you should watch your network to find out what's going to happen. I will tell you what I've been doing. I have sold shares in every country in the world except Uzbekistan and except China. I don't have many shares in it. I have a lot of cash, and the cash is mainly in US dollars because it's been the longest period in American history without a problem. The market was looking for a problem, and Mr. Trump has come along and given us a problem. I mean, tariffs have never been useful for anybody, and I'm afraid we're going to see serious problems in the financial markets worldwide.
Sure. But Jim, do you not feel that because of tariffs for an overheated market like the US equities, there are going to be inflationary problems, there is going to be problem of growth or degrowth in this case? People are already talking about whether or not the US is going to hit recession. What's the probability that the dollar strength is here to stay?
Well, I own a lot of US dollars. Even though the US is a terrible debtor nation, you should ask, why do I own dollars then? And because usually when the world has problems, people look for a safe haven. They think the US dollar is a safe haven. It's not. America's a huge debtor, but people think the dollar is a safe haven. So I own a lot of US dollars. My plan is when the US dollar goes up, I'll be smart enough, I hope, to sell it.
what level you would like to sell US dollar? Because 2 years ago, US dollar or the dollar index did go to 114. So is there a level in your mind which you would say that, look, I would be selling my US dollar?
No, I don't have a level. I usually try to let the market tell me when I see a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of euphoria in anything. I usually hope I'm smart enough to sell. And when that happens in the US dollar, I hope I'm smart enough to sell my US dollars.
Jim, the other question is, sell the US dollars and do what with the cash? Or are you willing to sit it out? And when will you deploy that cash back? What signals would you wait for and look out for?
That's the problem with talking to smart reporters. You ask good questions, and that's exactly the right question. And I will tell you, for the first time in my life, I don't have an answer. I don't have a new currency for the first time in my life. I'm certainly looking for the right currency, but I don't know what it will be. In theory, it might be the Chinese currency, but the Chinese currency is a blocked currency. I mean, you can't buy and sell it. It's not a free currency like it should be. So I don't know. If China becomes a totally open and free market, maybe it would be the Chinese currency. If.
So bullish on China, though, Jim. Don't you think these high tariffs from the US are going to impact their growth?
Well, being bullish on China is different from answering about the U.S. dollar and which currencies. Yes, I'm bullish on China only because compared to everything else, China's been depressed. China's been down a lot, as you know. I mean, the Indian stock market's making all-time highs. China's been depressed. Who knows about forever, but at the moment, I own China because it is, I think, somewhat depressed.
Jim, you like to buy when things get cheap, when there is bargain in the world, when nobody is liking them. So what are those assets, markets, or for that matter, instruments which right now are looking cheap to you, where nobody is interested in buying them?
Well, I mentioned Uzbekistan because nobody cares about Uzbekistan and they're trying to make changes. But as I look around the world, if you look at most markets have been having a very good time for the last several weeks or months. And when everybody's having a good time, it usually leads to bad times. At least that's what I have experienced in my lifetime. So I'm worried about nearly all markets. If you know some cheap markets from me, don't announce it on the air. Send me an email. I'm looking for cheap markets, and I don't find many now.
What happens to your erstwhile favorites, gold and silver?
Well, I own gold and silver, and I bought more silver recently. You know, silver's still depressed. Those are two of the few. Well, I'm not buying gold because it's making highs. I own gold. I'm not selling it, but I bought some silver recently, and I will probably buy some more soon.
So why is silver not participating the way gold is? Because silver does well when there is growth in the world. Gold does well when there is uncertainty in the world.
Well, gold is already doing well because there's uncertainty in the world. Gold is near its all-time high. Silver's down 40 or 50% from its all-time high. So I would prefer to buy silver, and I bought silver recently. I will buy more silver soon. Silver's still down a lot. It's now nearly 40% from its all-time high. Gold is making all-time highs.
Jim, you know, you've always said that, look, you are a terrible market timer. In hindsight only, we would know what is the top and what is the market bottom. But sir, there are patterns at play which tell you when an asset class is nearing its peak. Participation increases, leverage increases, the spike increases, everybody ignores the fundamentals. Can I say that that is happening in gold right now? Everybody thinks gold will go up. Every central banker is buying gold. The price has shot up suddenly 20% in last 1 year, and leverage positions are at its all-time high. So can I say that gold, if not today, if not tomorrow, will soon peak out?
Well, I hope I never sell my gold. I hope that my children own my gold someday. I am not selling my gold, even though it's making all-time highs. If anything, I would be buying silver, as I said, because silver is down, gold is not. But I'm not selling my gold. Everybody should own some gold. I mean, this is one of the things I learned in India. If you go down to the Indian markets, you see all those Indian women. Oh my gosh, they're buying all the silver and gold in the world. I learned a lot from Indian housewives in Indian markets. So I'm never going to sell my gold, and I will buy more silver.
So Jim, if given an option to just buy one asset class and go on a long holiday, which you've done in your 80s and 90s when you drive around the world, which is that one asset class you're happy to own for next 5, 7, 10, even 15 years? Only one, sir. 100% asset allocation by Jim Rogers for next 10 to 15 years.
Oh my gosh, what a question. Silver. Silver.
For next 10 to 15 years.
10 or 15 years, I will come to Delhi and we will all go to the bar and have a good time. I'll have a lot of silver and we will all go down, and I'll buy all the beer you can drink.
Okay, we look forward to that, and we'll take you up on that. Great chatting with you, Jim, as always. Thank you for your time.
I am still a big fan. Thank you very much.
Okay, on that note, let's take a very quick break. We'll be right back because we're going to be tracking the last half an hour of Liberation Day.